What if your prison isn't made of bars but of notifications? What if the chains that hold you back aren't forged from iron, but from an endless stream of opinions, alerts, and trivial demands? You feel it, don't you? That subtle, gnawing sense that you are living a fraction of the life you were meant to live. You feel the immense potential coiled inside you, a sleeping giant, yet every day it's sedated by 1,000 tiny distractions, a digital lullaby that keeps it dormant. You put in the effort. You wake up, you work, you strive. But why does your effort feel like running on a treadmill, burning energy but going nowhere? You're busy but not productive. You're connected but feel more isolated than ever. This is the great paradox of our age. We have access to all the information in the world, yet we suffer from a poverty of attention. We are surrounded by tools meant to save us time, yet we have never felt more time-starved. This feeling isn't an accident. It's the hum of the modern world, a low-grade anxiety fed by a machine that profits from your fractured focus. It's the quiet desperation of a mind pulled in a million different directions, unable to latch onto anything meaningful, anything real. You scroll through the highlight reels of other people's lives, and a voice whispers that you are falling behind. You check your email for the 10th time in an hour, searching for a validation that never quite arrives. You consume endless content on how to improve, how to change, how to become unrecognizable, yet you remain stubbornly, frustratingly the same. You are not alone in this. This is the shared struggle of a generation drowning in a shallow sea of information. We have been conditioned to believe that more is better, more followers, more news, more stimulation. But this is a lie. Today, we are not going to talk about another productivity hack. We are not going to discuss a new app or a morning routine that will magically solve everything. We are going to talk about an ancient, radical act of self-preservation. We are going to talk about exile. Not a physical exile to a deserted island, but a mental and spiritual exile from the noise that is poisoning your soul. This is a journey to forge a state of mind so clear, so focused, and so powerful that it becomes dangerous. Dangerous to your old habits, dangerous to your limitations, dangerous to the expectations of a world that wants you to be distracted, docile, and predictable. By the end of our time together, you will not just have a new set of tools. You will have a new operating system for your mind, built on the timeless wisdom of the Stoics. You will understand how to surgically remove the trivial from your life, how to cultivate an unbreakable inner fortress, and how to unleash a level of clarity that will make you truly, fundamentally, unrecognizable to the person you are today. Let's begin with a truth that might surprise you. This war for your attention is not new. The technologies have changed, but the battle is ancient. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the world, was not fighting digital notifications, but he was fighting the same essential enemy: the distraction of court gossip, the flattery of sycophants, the endless demands of an empire, the anxieties of war, and the pull of his own fleeting emotions. He understood that a man's mind is his only true dominion, and that to lose control of your focus is to lose control of your life. He wrote in his private journals, not for an audience but for himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is our first win. This is the cornerstone of everything we will build today. Your fight is not a modern curse. It is a timeless human challenge. And if a Roman emperor could find a way to forge clarity amidst the chaos of an empire, you can find a way to forge it amidst the chaos of your digital world. The solution has always been there, waiting in the silence between the notifications. It's the path of the Stoic, the path of deliberate, strategic exile. This idea of exile sounds extreme, doesn't it? It conjures images of isolation and punishment, but we must reclaim this word. In our context, exile is not a punishment, it is a promotion. It is the conscious, deliberate act of elevating yourself above the noise. It is choosing to be the curator of your own mind, the gatekeeper of your own attention. Think of your mind as a kingdom. For years, you have left the gates wide open. Anyone and anything could wander in. Fear, other people's opinions, breaking news alerts, mindless entertainment, pointless arguments. Your kingdom is in a state of chaos. The citizens, your thoughts, your goals, your dreams are scattered and disorganized. Nothing of substance can be built. The Stoic path of exile is about closing the gates, not forever but deliberately. It is about deciding who and what gets an audience with the king. You. The first step in this exile is a ruthless audit, not of your finances, but of your attention. For the next week, I want you to become a detached observer of your own life. Carry a small notebook or use a simple notes app, and every time you feel that pull, that twitch to check your phone, to open a new tab, to engage in something you know deep down is a waste of your precious life force, make a note of it. What was the trigger? Was it boredom? Was it anxiety? Was it a desire for a quick hit of dopamine? Be brutally honest. At the end of the week, look at that list. This list is not a source of shame. It is a map. It is a map of the chains that are holding you. You will see patterns. You'll see that a handful of apps, a few websites, maybe even a few people, are consuming the vast majority of your mental energy. These are the first candidates for exile. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, a man who was the advisor to the Emperor Nero and one of the wealthiest men in Rome, constantly wrote about the poverty of a life spent on trivialities. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you look at your audit, you will see this truth in stark black and white. You will see the hours, the days, the weeks of your one and only life that are being siphoned away by things that do not matter, that do not contribute to your growth, your peace, or your purpose. The average person will recoil from this realization. They will make excuses. They will say, "I need to stay informed," or "It's just how I relax." But you are not the average person. The very fact that you are here listening to this means you are ready for a different path. You are ready to see that list not as a judgment, but as an opportunity for a great liberation. Now comes the second and perhaps most difficult step, the deliberate severance. This is where the idea of exile becomes an action. It's time to start cutting the cords. This is not a digital detox where you take a weekend off only to come rushing back to the same habits on Monday. This is a permanent, strategic amputation of the non-essential. Go through that list from your audit. That social media app that leaves you feeling empty and envious. Delete it. Not just off your phone, but delete the account. Burn the bridge. That news feed that fills you with rage and anxiety every morning, unfollow it. Block the site. Create friction between you and the source of the noise. That group chat that is nothing but a stream of gossip and negativity. Mute it. Leave it. Explain yourself if you must, but do not apologize for protecting your peace. This will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like you are cutting off a limb. Your brain, conditioned for years to seek these small, predictable rewards, will scream in protest. You will be hit with a wave of FOMO, the fear of missing out. You'll wonder what you're missing. What are people saying? What's happening in the world? This is the withdrawal. This is the test. And this is where the Stoic mindset becomes your greatest weapon. The Stoics practiced a technique we now call premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would actively imagine the worst-case scenarios to rob them of their power. So let's apply this. What is the absolute worst thing that will happen if you delete that app? You will miss a few memes. You won't know about a celebrity's latest drama. You'll be the last to hear about some manufactured outrage. Now weigh that against the potential gain, hours of your life back, mental clarity, reduced anxiety, the space to think, to create, to connect with the people right in front of you. The fear of missing out is an illusion. It's a marketing gimmick designed to keep you hooked. The true power lies in the joy of missing out. The JOMO. The joy of missing out on the trivial, the negative, the distracting. The joy of reclaiming your own mind. Every time you choose to sever a connection to a source of distraction, you are casting a vote for your future self. You are sending a powerful signal to your subconscious mind that your focus is valuable, that your time is sacred, and that you are no longer available for the non-essential. This is not about deprivation. It is about redirection. All that energy you were pouring into the digital void can now be redirected into things that truly matter. Reading a book that challenges you. Learning a skill that excites you. Having a deep, uninterrupted conversation with a loved one. Or, most radically of all, simply being alone with your own thoughts. This leads us to the third stage of our exile, the cultivation of silence. Once you have cleared out the noise, you will be left with a vacuum, an empty space. For the modern mind, this space is terrifying. We have been trained to fill every spare moment with stimulation. The moment we are in a line in an elevator or waiting for a friend, we pull out our phones. We have become allergic to boredom. But the Stoics, and indeed all great thinkers throughout history, understood that silence and boredom are not voids to be filled. They are crucibles where insight is forged. It is in the quiet moments, when the external chatter fades, that you can finally hear the whispers of your own intuition. It is in the boredom that your mind starts to make novel connections, to solve problems that have been plaguing you, to generate ideas that are truly original. You must learn to love this silence, to seek it out. This means scheduling time for solitude just as you would schedule a meeting. It could be a long walk without headphones. It could be sitting in a room with just a pen and paper for 30 minutes. It could be driving without the radio on. At first, it will feel strange. Your mind will be like a wild horse, thrashing and bucking, desperate for its usual fix of stimulation. Let it. Don't fight it. Just observe it. This is a form of meditation, a mindfulness of your own restless mind. Gradually, day by day, the horse will calm down. Your mind will settle, and in that newfound stillness, something remarkable will happen. Clarity will begin to emerge. This is not a passive, gentle clarity. This is a dangerous clarity. Why dangerous? Because a person with this level of clarity is no longer controllable. A person who is not swayed by the latest trend, who is not manipulated by fear-mongering headlines, who is not addicted to the validation of strangers, is a person who operates on their own terms. They are guided by an internal compass, not by the shifting winds of public opinion. Their actions are deliberate, not reactive. Their words have weight because they are spoken from a place of deep thought, not from a place of impulsive reaction. This clarity is dangerous to the systems that rely on your distraction. It's dangerous to the shallow relationships that are built on surface-level interactions. Most of all, it's dangerous to the old, comfortable, mediocre version of you. The you that made excuses. The you that settled. The you that believed you were not enough. That you is the first casualty of this exile. Let's trace the journey of a man who walks this path. Let's call him Alex. At the start, Alex is the embodiment of modern distraction. His phone is an extension of his hand. His mind is a browser with 100 tabs open, all of them auto-refreshing. He's ambitious, he has goals, but his days are a blur of reacting. Reacting to emails, to notifications, to the demands of others. He feels a constant, low-level hum of anxiety. He consumes content about success, but his own life feels stagnant. He is caught in the trap of knowing without doing. One day, the pain of his stagnation becomes greater than the comfort of his distractions. He decides to begin the exile. He performs the audit. The results are horrifying. He sees that he's spending over 4 hours a day on his phone, mostly on social media and news aggregators. He sees how his focus is shattered into tiny, 10-second increments. He feels a surge of disgust, which he wisely channels into action. He performs the severance. It's brutal. He deletes Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. He unsubscribes from dozens of email newsletters. He blocks news sites from his browser. His friends think he's lost his mind. How will you know what's going on? They ask. In the first few days, the phantom limb syndrome is intense. He reaches for his phone constantly, only to find a blank, boring home screen. The silence is deafening. His anxiety spikes. His mind screams for a hit of information, any information. But he holds the line. He has committed to the exile. He remembers the Stoic principle of enduring and renouncing. He endures the discomfort and he renounces his old masters. Instead of scrolling, he picks up a book, a real physical book. He starts with Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. He reads slowly, not to finish it, but to understand it. He starts taking walks. No phone, no music, just him and the world. He just observes. The color of the leaves, the sound of the wind, the faces of people he passes. He is re-engaging with reality in high definition, after years of living through a pixelated screen. Slowly a change begins. The constant hum of anxiety starts to fade. In its place there is a quiet stillness. In this stillness his own thoughts, which have been drowned out for years, begin to surface. He starts to think about his career not in terms of what he should do, but what he is genuinely drawn to. He starts to have ideas, real, tangible ideas. He starts a journal, not to record his day, but to have a conversation with himself. He asks himself hard questions. What am I afraid of? What values do I truly hold? If I were not afraid, what would I do? His work begins to transform. Because his focus is no longer fractured, he can engage in what Cal Newport calls deep work. In 2 hours of uninterrupted, focused effort, he now accomplishes more than he used to in an entire day of distracted multitasking. His insights become sharper. His solutions become more creative. His boss notices. His colleagues notice. He speaks less in meetings, but when he does, people listen because his words are considered. They are backed by deep thought. His relationships change too. He is no longer half present, one eye on his phone. When he is with someone, he is fully with them. He listens. He asks better questions. His connections with his family and his true friends deepen in a way he never thought possible. He has fewer friends in the social media sense, but his real-world relationships are richer and more meaningful. After 6 months, Alex is unrecognizable. Not just to others, but to himself. The anxiety is gone, replaced by a calm, quiet confidence. The frantic, reactive energy is gone, replaced by a deliberate, focused power. He is not a different person. He is the person he was always meant to be, stripped of all the layers of noise and distraction that were burying him. He has achieved dangerous clarity. He is no longer a slave to the algorithm. He is the master of his own mind. He did not need more information or more life hacks. He needed less. He needed exile. He needed silence. He needed to reclaim his own attention. We've journeyed through the modern prison of the mind, a place of constant, low-grade anxiety fueled by distraction. We have uncovered the ancient escape hatch provided by the Stoics, the philosophy of a deliberate, strategic exile. We have laid out the practical steps, the ruthless audit of your attention, the deliberate severance from the non-essential, and the courageous cultivation of silence. We've seen through the story of Alex how this path leads not to deprivation, but to a profound liberation and the forging of a dangerous, unstoppable clarity. But what happens next? What is the true purpose of this clarity? Forging this power is one thing, wielding it is another entirely. The world doesn't stop just because you found your focus. The challenges, the setbacks, the chaos, they will still come. The difference is how you meet them. The journey from here is about integrating this newfound clarity into the very fabric of your being, so that you don't just have moments of focus, but you become a focused individual. It's about turning this state into a trait. Take a moment right now. Pause if you need to, and ask yourself this question with unflinching honesty. In the last 24 hours, how much of my time was spent consciously moving toward a life I desire, and how much was spent unconsciously reacting to the world around me? Look at your actions, not your intentions. The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about who is currently in command of your life. Is it you, or is it the chorus of external demands? The purpose of dangerous clarity is to shift that ratio permanently in your favor. It's to live a life of proaction, not reaction. When a problem arises at work, the old you might have panicked, fired off a dozen anxious emails, and created more chaos. The new you, the one forged in exile, will greet the problem from your inner citadel. You will be still. You will look at the situation objectively, separating the facts from your emotional interpretation of them, a core Stoic practice. You will ask, what is within my control here and what is not? You will ignore what is not in your control, such as the initial mistake or the reaction of others. You will then pour your entire, undivided focus onto the one or two actions that are within your control and will make the biggest positive impact. You will act with precision and decisiveness, not with frantic, wasted energy. This is how a focused mind solves problems. In your relationships, this clarity will allow you to navigate conflict with grace. When someone says something that hurts or offends you, the reactive mind immediately jumps to defense or attack. It's a battle of egos. The clear mind, however, creates a space between the stimulus, their words, and your response. In that space, you have freedom. You can ask yourself, is their criticism valid? Is there a kernel of truth I can learn from? Or is this simply a reflection of their own pain and insecurity? You can choose to respond with empathy, with a firm boundary, or with dignified silence. You are no longer a puppet pulled by the strings of other people's emotions. You are in control. This is the deeper meaning of what Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most revered Stoic teachers, meant when he said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This is not a platitude. It is the ultimate expression of human freedom. The world can throw anything at you, a financial crisis, a health scare, a betrayal. These things are outside your control. But your response, your interpretation, your chosen action, that is always, always yours. The quality of your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by the quality of your response. And the quality of your response is determined by the clarity of your mind. This exile from distraction is therefore not an escape from life. It is a deeper engagement with it. You are removing the static so you can hear the music. You are wiping the grime from the window so you can see the view. The goal is not to become an emotionless robot. The Stoics were not emotionless. They experienced the full range of human emotions. The difference is that they were not ruled by them. They saw emotions as impressions, information to be examined, not as truths to be blindly followed. A pang of fear is an impression that says there might be danger. A clear mind examines it and asks, is the danger real or imagined? What is the wise course of action? An undisciplined mind simply lets the fear take the wheel. As you continue on this path, you will begin to build what the Stoics called an inner citadel. This is a fortress within your own mind, a place of unshakable peace and strength. The storms of the external world can rage, the economy can crash, people can betray you, plans can fail. But within your citadel, you remain secure. This security does not come from having all the answers or from being able to control the world. It comes from the absolute conviction that whatever happens, you have the inner resources to handle it. It is the peace that comes from knowing that you are the master of your own soul. This is the ultimate prize. It is not the increased productivity, the career success, or the admiration of others, though those things will likely come as byproducts. The ultimate prize is tranquility. The Greeks called it euthymia asterisk, a state of good cheer or well-being. which Seneca described as believing in yourself and trusting that you are on the right path, and not being in doubt by following the myriad of paths of those who wander in every direction. It is a quiet, profound joy in your own existence. It is the feeling of being at home in your own skin, at peace with your own mind. It is a state of being so grounded, so centered, that the trivialities of the world simply cannot shake you. This is the power that is waiting for you on the other side of your distractions. It is the promise of Stoicism. It is the reward for the courage it takes to choose exile. It is not an easy path. It requires discipline. It requires courage. It requires a willingness to be different from the crowd. The world will constantly try to pull you back into the noise. The temptations will be ever present. You will have to renew your commitment to this exile every single day. Every morning, you will have to reaffirm your decision to be the gatekeeper of your mind. You will have to choose the difficult, meaningful path over the easy, distracting one. Imagine the person you could become a year from now if you committed to this. Imagine the clarity of your thoughts. Imagine the decisiveness of your actions. Imagine the depth of your relationships. Imagine the peace in your heart. You would be unrecognizable, not because you changed your hair or your clothes, but because you changed the very essence of how you engage with the world. You would have moved from being an object, constantly acted upon by external forces, to being a subject, the conscious creator of your own life. The journey begins with a single step, one act of severance, one choice to embrace the silence. Choose one thing, just one app to delete, one notification to turn off, one half hour to schedule for silent reflection. Don't overwhelm yourself with a grand plan, just take the first step. Prove to yourself that you can do it. Build momentum. Each small act of discipline is a brick in the wall of your inner citadel. Each moment of reclaimed focus is a sharpening of your inner sword. The path of exile is not for everyone. It is a solitary road and it demands sacrifice. The world is full of people content to live in the noise, their potential diluted. There lives a reaction to 1,000 notifications, forever adrift in a sea of triviality. They will not understand your choice. They may even mock it. Let them. Your journey is not for them to understand. It is for you to live. You are answering a higher calling, a deeper impulse within your own soul that knows you were made for more. More than endless scrolling, more than reactive anxiety, more than a life of quiet desperation. The real question is not whether you can do this. You can. The capacity for focus, for discipline, for clarity is within you right now. It is your birthright. The real question is whether you are willing. Are you willing to endure the initial discomfort? Are you willing to be different? Are you willing to become dangerous to the person you are now in order to unleash the person you were always meant to be? What illusion are you ready to exile today?